Have you ever wondered what life was like over 9,000 years ago? We often think of this time, the Neolithic or New Stone Age, as a primitive era of cave dwellers. But what if I told you that in 7075 BC, people were living in a bustling, complex, and surprisingly modern settlement? Let's travel back in time to one of the most incredible archaeological sites on Earth, Çatalhöyük. Located in modern-day Turkey, Çatalhöyük wasn't just a village. It was a proto-city, one of humanity's earliest large-scale communities. Imagine a sprawling town with thousands of people, all living together without streets or alleyways. Instead, houses were built right up against each other, like a giant honeycomb. So how did people get around? They walked across the rooftops. Entry into each home was through a hole in the ceiling, with a ladder leading down into the living space. This unique design wasn't just for convenience. It created a strong sense of community and provided excellent defense against outsiders and wild animals. Inside these homes, life was remarkably sophisticated. Each house was a rectangular single-story structure made of mud. The interiors were meticulously plastered and often painted with stunning murals. These weren't just simple doodles. They were elaborate scenes of hunting, geometric patterns, and even what some archaeologists believe is the world's first landscape painting depiction of the town with a nearby volcano, Mount Hazen, erupting in the background. It's a breathtaking snapshot of how these ancient people saw their world. The people of Çatalhöyük were skilled farmers, cultivating wheat, barley, and peas. They were also expert hunters and gatherers, supplementing their diet with wild animals, fish, and plants. But what's truly fascinating is their industry. They crafted beautiful tools from obsidian, a volcanic glass sharp enough for detailed work. This obsidian wasn't local. It was imported from places like Mount Hazen, showing they were part of a wide-ranging trade network long before the Silk Road. They also created intricate pottery, woven textiles, and figurines, including the famous seated woman of Çatalhöyük, a figure that has sparked endless debate about the role of women and religion in their society. Religion and ritual were deeply woven into the fabric of daily life. Unlike later civilizations with grand temples, spiritual practices at Çatalhöyük happened right inside the home. Many houses contained elaborate shrines decorated with bull horns, known as bucrania, set into the walls. These bulls were powerful symbols, perhaps representing strength, fertility, or protection. People also buried their dead beneath the floors of their own houses. This practice suggests a powerful connection to ancestors, keeping them physically and spiritually close to the family. It was a way of saying, you are still part of this home, part of our lives. But what makes 7075 BC such a special moment in Çatalhöyük's long history? Archaeologists use radiocarbon dating to pinpoint the age of different layers of the settlement. The layers dating to this period reveal a community at its peak. The artwork is vibrant, the trade is flourishing, and the population is dense. This wasn't a society just struggling to survive. It was thriving, innovating, and creating a rich culture. They were pioneers, figuring out how to live together in large numbers for the first time. One of the most mind-bending aspects of Çatalhöyük is its apparent egalitarianism. For a long time, archaeologists found little evidence of a ruling class or central authority. Houses were roughly the same size, and burials didn't show significant differences in wealth. It seemed to be a society without kings or priests, governed by community consensus. More recent discoveries have challenged this a bit, suggesting some households may have held more influence than others. But it was still a far cry from the rigid hierarchies we see in later civilizations like ancient Egypt or Mesopotamia. Think about it. A city of thousands, with complex art, long-distance trade, and deep spiritual beliefs, all functioning without a centralized government as we know it. It forces us to rethink our assumptions about what civilization means. It didn't start with pyramids and palaces. It started with communities like Catalyak, where people experimented with new ways of living together, sharing resources, and building a shared identity. The world of 70-75 BC was not a primitive, empty landscape. It was a world of change and innovation. While the people of Catalyak were building their rooftop city, other groups across the Fertile Crescent were also mastering agriculture, domesticating animals, and forming permanent settlements. This was the dawn of a new era, the foundation upon which all subsequent human history would be built. The choices made and the lessons learned in places like Çatalhöyük paved the way for the world we live in today. So, the next time you think of the Stone Age, don't just picture a lone hunter with a spear. Picture the vibrant, crowded rooftops of Catalya. Picture families gathered inside homes, decorated with art, sharing stories and honoring their ancestors. Picture a thriving community from 9,000 years ago that shows us just how creative, resilient, and deeply human our ancestors truly were. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back to 70-75 BC. What part of life at Çatalhöyük fascinates you the most? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this trip through time, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into our incredible past. See you in the next video.